Hey there, everyone. Mychal Bryan here from the Oraculos School of Astrology with yet another question and answer segment where practicing astrologers bring me their questions and I provide them answers based on my astrological practice. If you're enjoying these Q&A segments and you'd like to work with either myself or an OSA certified astrologer, then by all means check out our website where you can book yourself a high-quality astrological consultation today. Also, I answer many of these questions and more in my book, Mastering Traditional Astrology, A Depth of Beginning in the Celestial Art, which you can buy a copy of on Amazon.com. And if you'd like to become a professional astrologer, then check out our Professional Astrologers Diploma program, as well as our Medical Astrologers Diploma program by visiting the education page of our website.
If a person has the part of fortune located in their 12th house, really, what does that mean? I know that the part of fortune represents the source of our money and the source of our happiness. But this native, to my knowledge, doesn't have any sort of 12th house sources of income. So I don't quite know how to interpret that.
The question is, what to do if we find the parts of fortune located in the 12th house? Now, in traditional astrology, we have the Arabic parts. And the Arabic parts represent proxies of the various houses that they are associated with. Therefore, each of the 12 houses have a list of Arabic parts that represents the various topics of the 12 houses. So for example, the 10th house is having a part of the mother, but it's also having a part of our public prestige. So instead of using the 10th house in general to specifically represent our mother and our public prestige, we can use the Arabic parts associated with the 10th house to distinguish between these two topics. And all of the houses have several Arabic parts that are associated with those houses so that we can distinguish between the various topics that those houses represent. The part of fortune is representing a proxy of our money within this lifetime. So whereas we can use the second house to specifically represent our money and the ruler of our second house to also represent how our money is manifesting and some of the forces that are impacting our financial well-being within this lifetime, the parts of fortune can also be used as a proxy of our money. So when we see the parts of fortune showing up within our chart in any one of our 12 houses, that can indicate an area of our life where we're finding a level of sustenance from. Now, the reason why I use the word sustenance is because the second house isn't just having to do with our money, but the second house is also having to do with our food and how we take care of ourselves fundamentally. From a more psychological or even metaphysical level, the money that we find within our second house is representing a source of help or a source of aid or a source of joy or a source of how we feed ourselves both physically and emotionally within this lifetime. So the part of fortune isn't just representing money specifically, but many astrologers have also associated the part of fortune with something that gives us a sense of joy or happiness within our lives. So while the parts of fortune can be used to represent our money specifically, and it often does, it can also be used to represent sources of happiness and joy that we find within this lifetime. So if we have the parts of fortune in any of our 12 houses, the house that we find the parts of fortune in can indicate some place where we're finding a sense of reprieve or some place where we're finding a sense of abundant well-being. So if a person is having the parts of fortune in their 12th house, that can be a person who finds a sense of abundant well-being in loneliness, in being alone in general, in isolating themselves from the world at large, and in having more private time to decompress from their experience of peopling in general, because having the parts of fortune in the 12th house can indicate a need for isolation and solitude. However, from the perspective of the parts of fortune representing money specifically, having the parts of fortune in the 12th house isn't necessarily the best indication in the world in terms of one's financial health and well-being. Similarly, if we have the second house afflicted because of the presence of malefics in the second house, such as Mars, Saturn, or the South Node, And on top of that, we have the ruler of the second house afflicted, such as the ruler of the second house in detriment or fall, retrograde, and also having malignant aspects to Mars, Saturn, or a conjunction with the South Node. Then these things can indicate that we are having financial challenges within our lifetime in general. Therefore, having the parts of fortune in the 12th house on top of all of that can be further corroboration of the sorts of financial difficulties we find ourselves manifesting within this lifetime.
That was great. Yep. And it's a good description of this native.
I hope you enjoy our Q&A segment, and if you have astrological questions that you'd like for me to answer, then please feel free to share them in the comment section down below. And remember, my book Mastering Traditional Astrology, A Depth of Beginning in the Celestial Art is now out and ready to be purchased. So pick yourself up a copy by visiting Amazon.com today. And if you want to become a professional astrologer, please feel free to check out any of the diploma programs that we offer here at the Oraculos School of Astrology by visiting oraculosastrology.com. I hope to see you in class soon.